If you project the worst is going to happen. It's like you're defeating yourself before you start. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. You have to change limiting or disempowering beliefs into empowering beliefs. And I'm going to show you how to do this. What's up, everyone? Koniak here. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is overcoming limiting beliefs. And this is something I did a workshop in our mastermind recently in Lake Arrowhead, and spent couple hours really breaking down how to overcome limiting beliefs. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to try and synthesize and really simplify everything I taught in that masterclass for the greater good of you guys to be able to use this and give you a tool that's going to help you identify and quickly turn limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs. So let's get into it right now. Make sure you stick to the end, because at the end, I'm also going to provide you a resource to dive deeper into how to transform your mindset, and also give you a tool and a training that you can use for the future. So let's talk about limiting beliefs for a minute. Okay, why is it so important to overcome limiting beliefs? And it really stems from the basic human psychology of your quality of your life is the quality of your thoughts. And whether you think it's true or whether you think it's not true, you're right. Okay? So whatever you think is going to happen is going to happen. So if you have a belief that tells you you're not going to be successful, most likely you're not going to be successful. And so it's really important to be positive with your beliefs and to believe that, you know, there's a better future for you, and that you're able to achieve the goals and get the dreams that you want. Especially in sales, where there's just so much uncertainty all the time. So let's break it down really simply, okay? Your belief or your thought, right, determines how you feel, okay? And how you feel, right, is your emotional state. Your emotional state, your emotions. Your belief or your thoughts determine your feelings or your emotions. Your feelings or emotions then will determine your actions and your behaviors, okay? And then your actions and your behaviors will in turn determine your results, okay? So if you have a belief that disempowers you or makes you scared or anxious or frustrated, right? What'll happen is most likely that will actually make you want to check out or escape. Or maybe you go into hypervigilance mode to make up for it, and then you're not as present, you're not as creative. Any way you put it, if you have stressful beliefs or beliefs that cause fear or anxiety, thinking you're going to lose your job, you're not going to get the deal, you're not going to succeed, your manager doesn't care about you, right? It's going to leave you feeling disempowered, discouraged, frustrated, stressed. And when you're feeling that way, you're not going to perform your best. It's going to be very hard to go to work with an abundant energy and to be in service when you're, worried about your own job. You're going to show up with commission breath, and the results will be that you actually will repel your clients, and you're going to emit a very nervous energy that people don't want to connect with. And so you have to change limiting or disempowering beliefs into empowering beliefs. And I'm going to show you how to do this really quick, okay? If you want to feel great every day, you got to feel, like what you're doing matters. You got to feel like you know where you're going. You have to have clarity and feel confident in the game plan. So I'll give you kind of an example. I was coaching a guy today, and this is what we were working on. He last year finished far below plan, and this year he's far below plan. And he wasn't a coaching call. It was a sales call. He wanted to inquire about coaching. And very quickly, what I learned on the call is that his beliefs were actually creating the results that he feared. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. So he spot out like 3 or 4 limiting beliefs right within 5-10 minutes. One was nobody's buying in this economy. Another is it's harder than ever to sell before. And then another one, which I wrote down here, is I only have 5 viable accounts in my territory. I asked how many accounts he has, and he said he has 25. And he quickly justified, but only 5 can be viable. So in his mind, he had a bad territory. most of his accounts he couldn't sell anything to. I can tell you firsthand it's not true. I know what product he was selling. I know there's an amazing opportunity in the product industry, but his belief was I only have 5 viable accounts in the territory. So the belief is I can't be successful here because my territory sucks. Now you could substitute that for anything. My manager sucks. My product sucks. I don't have the support I need. I don't have the training I need, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But that belief is what's called a disempowering belief or a limiting belief. He felt discouraged. His actions were not to focus on 20 accounts, and even on the 5 accounts, he was overly obsessive, and that repelled them. And now he's at 15% of quota. He hasn't gotten the results he wants. And so it reinforced the limiting belief. So a self-fulfilling prophecy is whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. I think maybe Shakespeare said that. I don't even remember. But anyway, because he didn't think he could concede, he felt discouraged. His actions reflect someone who was discouraged and had commission breath and was desperate. And then that repelled and he didn't get the results he wanted. And now he's talking to me for coaching because he realizes he needs help. And so what I told him is we need to make this an empowering belief. So let me give you a tool to show you how to turn a limiting belief, we'll use this one, into an empowering belief that's actually going to serve you. So I only have 5 accounts that are viable in my territory out of 25. So my territory sucks is the limiting belief. And the way that you can overcome limiting beliefs, I would love for you to pick up a book. It's from a woman named Byron Katie. And the book's called Loving What Is. And it's all about questioning, she calls it inquiring about the belief itself and turning it on its head. Okay? And so let me show you how to do that real quick. And again, I'm just scratching the surface. I highly recommend picking up this book if you want to learn how to do this in more detail. It's something I've been coaching on. A lot of coaches use it. It's very, very effective. And it's called the 4 questions. The first question, is it true? You ask, is this belief true? I only have 5 viable accounts in my territory. Is that true? He's going to say, yeah, it's true. He believes that. The second question is, can you absolutely know it's true? Can he absolutely know that? Hell no. It's not no. It's completely no, without a question, unless he's talked to every CEO of all 25 accounts and they said we have no need for automation, for cost savings, for integration, for streamlining, for accelerating go-to-market, or for anything you sell. He was in the integration space. He cannot say it's true. So he is literally being defeated by a projection of a territory which he hasn't even talked to the executives in that account yet. He didn't meet with them, so how can he know it? He can't. So this answer is always no. If you look at the belief, if you dive deep into the belief, there's no way you can absolutely know it's true. You're projecting the economy is bad. No one's buying. I'll tell you, we're having our biggest year ever, right? The S&P is up more than it's been in any recent year. 25% is the time of this video. The S&P is up. The unemployment is down, right? The economy is actually really good. But if you believe the economy sucks, right, you're going to show up that way. It's like you're defeating yourself before you start. So this answer, right, is no. It's always no. When you look at anything, you can't absolutely know it's true. There's no way for anything. My manager's a bad person. Can you know that? No. Maybe they just are going through a divorce. Maybe they're having a hard time and they're short. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. You can't know your belief is true. There's nothing absolutely certain, anything in this world that you can absolutely know is true. I don't want to get philosophical here, but when you really look at the facts, right, most of the thing that we're telling ourselves, we can't really know it's true. We're making an assumption. We're projecting our own values onto the situation, okay? So the third question is, how do you react when you believe that thought? How do you react when you believe you only have 5 viable accounts in your territory? How do you react when you think there's no way you can hit your quota, right? How do you react when you have any limiting belief? You react with stress, with anxiety. In this case, he literally walked away from most of his territory. He didn't prospect to any of them because he didn't think they were viable. We looked at another belief that said the stock had gone down in one of his accounts by 50%, and his limiting belief was they're not going to have budget for my project. My belief, if I was in that account, is they need our project because they're going to have to cut costs and we can help them do so with automation. So I looked at that as a massive opportunity. He looked at it as self-defeating. You can literally look at this with any situation. If you project the worst is going to happen. It's a reality because you're showing up with someone that fears that versus someone believes that this is an opportunity. So the third question is, how do you react when you believe that your territory sucks? Well, you're not going to prospect as hard. You're not going to be as disciplined. You're not going to be as motivated. You might go through the motions, but you're thinking, what's the point? It's not going to work anyway. And that energy you're going to emit into the universe, and you're actually going to get the results of someone who thinks they're not going to succeed. Okay? So how do you react when you believe that? Well, it's not good. Okay? You're stressed. You're anxious. You're negative. You're worried. You're not sleeping. Right? You're not prospecting. Like, this is the third question. It's like, when you believe that thought, what happens? What's your emotional state? What actions are happening? Are you showing up your best? The answer is going to be no. Right? And then the last question, the fourth one, is who would you be without that thought? If you had no way to imagine that your territory sucks or that accounts aren't viable, who would you be? Well, I'd be excited. I'd go out and I'd prospect into all of them. I'd research them more. I'd figure out how and where we can help our clients. I would be optimistic, right? I would be inspired. I would be committed. I would be more motivated. I would, be taking different actions. I'd be calling executives. I'd be, basically showing up in a very different manner. I'd be a different person. I'd be energized. If I had the thought on this other example where the stock went down 50%, they need my product. If I had that thought, they need me, I'm going to try to get to their CFO. I'm going to talk to the CEO. I'm going to say, hey, given your recent stock drop, I know you're probably looking at ways to automate and optimize costs and consolidate applications. We have a great way to do that. I'd love to chat with you, to make you more competitive, to help you, reduce costs and drive up your stock price. So it's all about how you view a situation. The problem is the gift. The obstacle is the way, as Ryan Holiday says. Okay, a little stoicism for you. But I'm always thinking about, what's the gift in this? What's the blessing in this? Salesforce.com cut off my education reimbursement. I had a bunch of people in Salesforce. I'm like, okay, onward and upward. Let's go. Great. What does it mean? It means that we're going to focus on people who want to invest in themselves, who want to go out and really change, who are more committed, because the people who are using Salesforce's money weren't actually showing up as much as the ones who paid out of pocket. Those who pay attention. What happened? We focused on other areas. We had our biggest 30 days ever in our company, 400K in 30 days, after we got cut off from our biggest, source of students. Go figure, right? Because we saw it as an opportunity. And the last question is, who would you be without the thought that my territory is not viable? I'd be excited. I'd be free. I'd be energized, right? It's all about inquiring and asking these four questions. Now, once you finish that, what you want to do is the turnaround. It's called a turnaround. And the turnaround is just take the original statement that you made, which is, I only have 5 viable accounts in my territory, right? And or he could say 20 of my accounts aren't good, and turn it around. It's the opposite, right? I only have 5 non-viable accounts in my territory. I only have 5 non-viable, meaning I have 20 opportunities to go after, literally. So you take whatever the limiting belief is, right, and you make it the opposite, right? The limiting belief is they're not going to buy because their stock is down. The opposite, the turnaround, is they are going to buy because their stock is down. They are going to buy. You make it the opposite. Whatever that limiting belief is, you turn it into an empowering belief by making the opposite. I know I promised you 2 resources in 15 minutes or less. So click here, get the full keynote, Mindset of Sales Champions. I dive into this and so much more for a full hour. And if you need help with your mindset, you can book a free strategy call with my team. We'll talk to you about how we can coach you to turn limiting into empowering beliefs. Take care.